Dricus.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. You know, a lot of talk about this fight's been, it's personal this, it's personal that. But when we've seen you and Izzy at the press conference before, it was kind of well-mannered. And I think even on this fight week, it's not like we've heard, terrible insults thrown at each other. As you get close to the fight, how are you feeling personally about the contest?
Yeah, I mean, I know it's definitely personal for him because he took a lot of offense in what I said for speaking the truth, and he didn't like it. So it was never personal because there's nothing to be personal about. For me, I stated facts. I said what I said. It's 100% the fact. And he took it very personal. So, yeah, he's angry. I don't care. And, I mean, that's it. At the end of the day, I'm here. I'm here for my business. My business is winning. Not defending about winning this fight.
And obviously, I feel like you're a big energy guy. Like you kind of feel energy from people. Have you run into him at all in the hotel? And what energy are you getting from him?
Not really him, but I saw his coach and his brother, and they're cool.
You said, I don't care about belts. I'm coming for heads. And I think you said you wanted to show off yourself in this octagon. So I guess, how do you view success fighting Dricus? Is it beating him? Is it beating him spectacularly? Is it just putting on like a fight that fans are enjoying? How do you view success against him?
Success against him will be all three.
Did you see the footage of his coach using a taser in fight camp when people were out of position and grappling stuff? He would like tase their feet and stuff.
Yeah, Eugene uses knives. He always has a knife on him. Is he here? No, he's not. If he does, he'll have a knife on him. So I've had knives pointed at me before. It's not this camp, though. I was good. I was good this camp.
When you look at this fight, ignore all the other stuff outside of it, do you think this is almost a contest between two puzzles, right? He was considered this big puzzle that was hard to figure out with his feints and his movement. And now you've come in here and it seems like a lot of people can't even figure out what you're doing to be successful, but you are being successful. Do you see this as a clash between two men who can confuse most of the division and it's up to the other guy to figure them out?
Yeah, I think especially at this level of the sport, that is what you get. I think that is at this level, when you're fighting at the top champion and contender, you get everybody's fit, strong, good enough striking, good enough wrestling, good enough on the grappling. Everybody has aspects. Some a little better, let's say better in grappling, some are better in striking, but everybody's good everywhere. It's about who shows up on the night with the plan, and if that plan is changing, who can, like you say, figure it out. So you can look at it as two puzzles, or you can look at it as two great fighters, and we're going to find out who came with the best armor.
So, we're talking about legacy a lot in this sport, and it's the reason why a lot of people do it. When you see what's happening with Francis and stuff, is it a concern that the turnover of fans in this sport is so high-paced that legacies like his can be forgotten if the promotion itself doesn't celebrate them as often as they can?
It can be, but also, again, we're in the age of the internet, so I don't think it's going to be forgotten as easily as they try. But, yeah, also myself. Look, my last fight was atrocious for myself. I was not happy with that fight. And, the fans, the media, you're only as good as your last fight. They keep all these sometimes these sayings that don't make sense anymore. You're only as good as your last fight. I don't get it, but at the same time, I'm like, okay. But, yeah, so for me, even this weekend, I kind of want to do what I have to do. And when I do it, and then people are going to be like, fuck, how did we not see this coming? How did we underestimate that he was going to do this? Amazing. So, yeah, it's just time to remind people.
You're obviously going to prepare for the toughest guy you could possibly face, right? But there are questions about Israel after that performance against Sean. In your gut instinct and in your heart of hearts, do you think that was an off night for him, or do you think that was potentially the beginning of a new Israel that we're going to start seeing?
I'll be honest, I've said it many times in previous interviews where I said I think it was an off night. It was very evident in terms of how he fought, just the whole fight. You could see it. But then I fought Strickland, and my whole perception around that fight changed, because now I firsthand experienced what it's like to fight Sean Strickland. He's hard to hit. And, with Izzy, he doesn't throw volume. He throws strikes that, he's pinpoint accurate with his strikes, or at least he tries to be. He's more of a move, hit. And when he fought Strickland, he missed all those shots. Strickland is really, really good defensively. And that was, when I fought Strickland, I immediately realized that's what happened. I threw volume so I could catch him and I could beat him. But Israel doesn't throw the volume, so every time he threw, he missed the shot. He missed the shots. He had 2, 3 maximum, and he would miss. So originally, I thought that Israel had an off night, and then after fighting Strickland and going to watch that fight again, I actually think it was just Strickland that did what he does extremely well, and that style didn't suit Israel at all.
Is part of that the motivation, right? Not just to beat Dricus, not just to show that you're still the top level, but the narrative in the sport sometimes it's like, oh, once they start losing, they just lose and lose and lose, and then they're done. Are you excited to come back and be like, no, that doesn't happen to every elite fighter?
They said that after New York when I fought Alex Pereira, they were like, oh, nah, he's done. He should pack it up. They always say some dumb shit like that. But a lot of these fans, they're not, they've never done what we've done. So, I don't really pay attention to that kind of stuff. I know what I can do. My team knows what I can do. And it's just time to show people what I can do.
Dricus, on the countdown, I think you used something. They were talking about your fight against Whitaker. You credited your coach for finding holes, and you said there just weren't that many holes in Robert Whitaker's games, and he found them. When you guys are breaking down Israel, are you guys finding holes that you can exploit, or is Israel kind of, just a kind of well-refined fighter in there?
No, listen, even with Robert Whitaker, when I said finding holes, we didn't find any holes. We just found a place where holes could be made. So that's what I was referring to in that. At this level, you don't see the holes, these clear holes in people's games. You just don't see it because that's why we're at the top of the game. You do see places where they get uncomfortable. They don't necessarily make the mistakes, but there is place to force them to make mistakes. And that's what I feel we did with the Whitaker fight, and that's what we're going to do in this fight. We don't see mistakes and say, oh, that's where we're going to catch him. No, we see places where they get uncomfortable, and you force that mistake.
That face-off that you and Dricus had, it went for ages, but it was such a calm presser, and then the energy changed. What was it that made the energy change so abruptly?
So for me, I just didn't. I don't know what to expect, but he tried to pufferfish me, and then he realized pretty quickly I'm not the one you can try and just blow smoke at. And yeah, he felt my energy, and he understands. He knows who he's dealing with now. That moment right there, let him know. He got to look into my eyes and see who I am. Yeah, I don't know what brought it on, but it's just deja vu. I've been here before. I've battled with the best. Like, no one can intimidate me. No one can intimidate me, and he definitely won't do that.
Well, kind of going off of that, it showed Israel's reaction when you switched to southpaw. Like, he stood up and he was like, oh, he's southpaw now, and he was kind of watching you a lot more. Do you have plans like that for, like, I'm sure you can't give us your game plan, but do you guys have a specific tailored plan for Israel, or are you just kind of focusing on yourself in there?
No, the thing is with Israel, he fights switch stances either way anyway. So, like myself, I fight both ways. With the Whitaker fight, we just, he doesn't switch really. He doesn't switch, so that's why we did that. But I fight switch all the time, and Israel as well. So it doesn't make sense to say, okay, cool, I'm only going to fight this or that. No, it's definitely not. For very specifically for Whitaker, that was the game plan, and for this fight, we had to do something else. So, like I said, I can fight both ways, but in a fight where a guy switches the whole time, it doesn't make sense to do something like that.
What's with the taser in fight camp?
Well, I mean, you don't just become world champion.
This guy, he's been waiting.
Israel, what are you expecting from Dricus on fight night? And what do you make of being, the odds-on favorite for this one? And Dricus, the champ, is the underdog.
I don't know. I didn't really know I was the favorite. What do I expect from Dricus? Just expect him to bring his best. He says he feels amazing, so I'm like, good. That's what I want.
Israel, just to your left. You're obviously one of the most active champions throughout your first run as champion. Would you be looking to return to that same activity level you had with a win over Dricus this Sunday?
I'm not even looking past this Sunday. I'm just looking at this Sunday. Yeah, and after that, I'll deal with things as they come.
Dricus, just over here, man. A couple of quick ones. I know you'd mentioned that you got a couple of rematches potentially in the works, but with this feud with Israel, do you believe this is the beginning of potentially a few fights? Obviously, Izzy fought Rob a few times. You might potentially fight Sean and Rob a second time. Do you think this is the first of a few fights and really actually maybe the beginning of a feud?
With Izzy?
With Izzy, yeah.
Probably not. No. I don't think so, to be honest.
Well, what makes you think that there's no more fights down the line, just the way that this fight
No,
goes?
no, no. I'm not saying definitely. I just saying no. I haven't thought about it.
Okay. The stare down you guys had in that first presser in Perth was pretty intense. And I saw you were doing an interview. You said that when you do your stare downs, you like to let the other person know with your energy that you're there and you're not taking a step back. So I guess following up from that at the press conference, what are you expecting at that stare down and then potentially at the weigh-ins? Are you imagining it's going to keep progressing as you guys go on and on?
Yeah, I don't know about the weigh-ins, all of that. I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking that will happen the way it happens in the moment, and I'll be reacting accordingly. But I think that stare down was a very, very good indication of what to expect when the fight comes. And yeah, I meant what I said with the energy, feeling that energy, and you can without physically touching somebody, you can make them feel your dominance in terms of who is the alpha. And that's exactly what happened in that stare down. And that's exactly what will happen on fight night.
With the win over Dricus this Sunday, you'd become only the second three-time UFC champion in history alongside Randy Couture. I guess, do you have any thoughts on that sort of accomplishment?
No, I haven't really thought about it. It's just focus on Dricus and the rest will come.
Thank you.
That's right here. Dricus said in an interview a few days ago, I can't remember who, that he needs to be perfect to beat this guy. That was his quote. Does that already show to you that there is some maybe doubt in his mind if he doesn't put on a flawless performance, that he maybe knows he can't win this?
He needs to be perfect. I don't know. We'll see. You have to ask him.
Yeah, I will when he comes in here. I know you said to Oscar yesterday when he kind of broke the news of Dana saying Sean Strickland would get the next title shot, you needed a little time to think about it. I'm just wondering if you formed any thoughts over the past 24 hours. I know you said that you thought the performance was atrocious, so it's exciting to potentially get that back.
Again, I'm different now. I'm not trying to look towards the future. I'm putting everything on this fight. I'm not a guy who needs to fight for the belt because I've never done it before. This is my one dream. No, I'm just focused on this fight, beat this guy up, and then I'll deal with whatever comes next when it comes.
Your relationship with Eugene Berriman, maybe not relationship, but obviously we spoke with him yesterday and he spoke about how he was in that training room when you guys were sparring and stuff like that. I think you guys might have done some rounds together. And obviously you guys had
No, me and Eugene didn't. My brother and Eugene did some rounds together.
Right, okay. He had a lot of nice things to say about you guys, which is quite contrasting. Obviously, there's you and Israel, but then you and the team seem to have really good feelings towards each other. I just wanted to see if you could touch on sort of your relationship with Eugene and sort of seeing him just before in the hotel as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I have the world's respect for Eugene. Coach Eugene the man is obviously brilliant. Look at the pedigree of fighters he's coached. I have all the respect in the world. And myself and Israel's feud has nothing to do with my relationship with them. And that, I think that goes to show on what you call maturity and emotional intelligence. Just because I don't like Israel Adesanya doesn't mean I don't. When we're in a group of friends, I can like everybody, but sometimes there's one guy you just don't like. It's fine. Just ignore them. It's okay. I like Volk. He's one of my all-time favorite fighters. I actually went up to him and told him what a badass I think he is. This is a long time ago, maybe months ago, when I met him at the PI. I trained with Volk 10 years ago. I trained before anyone on that team and myself was even close to the UFC. I trained with Volk, Dan Hangman, who is one of the most savage fighters, in my opinion, one of the toughest, baddest dudes on the planet. And even Kai Kara, France, he was training there too. We've known each other for a long time. We had drinks back then. We were friends, and we always have been. So the fact that myself and Israel doesn't like each other doesn't change the fact that I have mad respect for their whole team and, well, those that I know, and I think they're great people. It's just the fact that we don't like each other doesn't mean anything about how I feel about any of the others.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you so much.
How much have you kind of evolved during that time, and how much do you think the freshness might affect your performance?
I think you guys will see the best me you've seen yet. I'm the biggest I've ever been, the most muscular, I guess, I've ever been. I feel faster. I surprise myself sometimes with the speed that I'm hitting with. I'm not really hitting hard. I'm just really sharp. And I feel like a blade in this one. So, yeah, it's been good to refresh myself and reset myself. And now, let's get it.
Just say, Israel, stop searching for my Willie on the internet. It's weird. It's very freaking weird, man. Come on.